You've been working on that thing all morning. Why don't you just buy a new one?
This clock's been with me for years. I'll fix it.
You know it's cheaper to get a new one, right?
Cheaper, sure, but that's not the point.
That piece looks useless. Why bother with it?
It's only useless if you throw it away before you understand it.
You could just save yourself the trouble.
You see this little thing? It doesn't look important. But the whole clock stops without it. Sometimes small things do more work than you think.
But why waste time fixing something old? There are better clocks now, newer ones.
Maybe, but a new clock wouldn't teach me anything.
Teach you what? It's just a clock.
Fixing things shows you how they work. And once you know that, you understand how to take care of them. If you give up on something because it's hard to fix, you'll always be looking for replacements.
So you're saying it's not really about the clock?
Exactly. People do the same thing. When something or someone gets a little worn, they give up on it too fast. But some things aren't broken. They're just waiting for someone patient enough to fix them. There we go.
You actually got it working again?
See what happens when you don't give up.
Gap 3S. That afternoon, Jake decided to visit the local junkyard. He wandered through rows of discarded items, each with its own story. A rusted tricycle, an old television, and even a vintage radio caught his eye. He picked up a dusty, broken bicycle bell and turned it over in his hands. Grandpa's words echoed in his mind. Some things aren't broken, they're just waiting for someone patient enough to fix them. Lost in thought, Jake almost didn't notice the junkyard owner approaching. The man smiled kindly. Looking for something specific? Jake shrugged. Just looking around, trying to see if anything here can be fixed. The owner nodded. You'd be surprised how many things just need a bit of attention. Most folks don't see the potential in what they consider junk. Jake looked around again, this time with new eyes. I guess it's like fixing a clock. It's not just about making it work again, it's about understanding it, the owner chuckled. Exactly. And once you understand it, you appreciate it more. Jake left the junkyard with the bicycle bell in his hand, feeling more determined than ever. He was starting to see the value in things that others might overlook. Gap 3S. When he returned home, Grandpa was on the porch with a glass of iced tea. He saw the bike and nodded. Looks like you figured it out, Jake grinned. Yeah, I guess things aren't always as broken as they seem. Grandpa took a sip of his tea. That's right. Fixing things teaches you more than replacing them ever will. As Jake parked his bike in the garage, he thought about how easy it would have been to ask someone else or just buy a new one. But fixing it himself felt better. The process had shown him what each part did, how they worked together, and how much effort was hidden behind something simple. Maybe, he thought, Grandpa was right. Some things weren't broken at all, they just needed patience. Later that afternoon, Jake sits by his broken bike in the garage. The chain hangs loose and the tires are flat. He had been meaning to ask someone for help, but now he hesitates. His fingers brush over the rusted chain.
Some things aren't broken. They're just waiting for someone patient enough to fix them.
Jake grabs a wrench. After an hour of struggling, he tightens the chain and pumps air into the tires. His fingers are covered in grease and his arms ache, but the bike stands ready. He hops on and rides down the street, the wind brushing past his face.